It was one of those mornings that almost feels staged, The air's cool, the sky wide open, cows moving slow through tall grass, and I'm sitting on my porch, mug in hand, thinking, yeah, this is exactly why I worked my whole damn life, just for this. 20 acres of quiet, just me and the sunrise. If you've ever owned land, you get it. But peace is like glass, one crack, and suddenly you're holding shards. I saddled up that morning, headed out to check the south pasture, and right away something's off. Brand new fence posts, straight as a ruler, slicing right through. My grass like somebody drew a line on a map and thought the world would just rearrange itself. I figured maybe one of my ranch hands got overzealous, but as I got closer, my gut said, no way. Not with those shiny metal signs. Private HOA property, no trespassing, in big, bossy letters. For a second, I just stood there with my jaw slack, like I'd forgotten how to process the world. My field. Now some strangers' private property. That's a hell of a wake-up call. So I followed that fence, 50 yards, maybe more, and the farther I went, the madder I got. This wasn't on the border. It chewed straight through my best hay patch, took my irrigation pump, and cut me right down to the bones of the land. And on the other side, that cookie-cutter development, little boxes in neat rows. HOA signs everywhere, the smell of fresh concrete trying to cover up what used to be open air. I kept my distance, let them build their kingdom across the road. Never expected they'd march right onto my turf. By the time I reached the HOA's temporary office, there she was, bright pink sweater, sunglasses the size of dinner plates, clipboard tucked like a sword. You know the type. She gave me a glance that could have frozen soup. Good morning, I said, keeping it even. I think there's been a mistake. Someone's fenced off part of my land. She barely flinched. Sir, this is private HOA property. You need to leave before I call security. I took off my hat, did my best not to laugh. Ma'am, I own that field. County records will back me up. She sniffed. Our developer had it surveyed. Everything's legal. You're mistaken. I had to laugh. Surveyed? That's interesting. I'm the county surveyor. I approved your project. She blinked. Your what? The guy who drew your boundary lines, I said, showing her the official county map on my phone. According to this, you're 40 feet past your line. Her mask cracked just a little. There must be an error. Our developer has paperwork. Oh, I bet he does, I grinned. Just not the right kind. She pulled out her best, I'm in charge voice. Take it up with the board. The county approved our expansion. Who in the county? I pressed. The planning department? Because, funny thing, that's me too. Now she looked rattled. Why didn't you stop us? Because I didn't. Think anybody'd be dumb enough to build past the orange markers. They're not subtle. Her cheeks went red. You're being rude. No, ma'am. Patient. I could have flagged you for encroachment already. But I'm giving you a shot to fix it before it gets ugly. She puffed up, threatened legal action, told me I'd hear from their attorney. I tipped my hat, told her I was looking forward to it, and left her standing there in a cloud of dust. Back home, I pulled up my own files, certified plats, satellite overlays, every legal receipt for that land since my granddad's day. Gave him 24 hours. If they didn't fix it, I'd let county enforcement do what they do best, teach folks that property lines aren't suggestions. Next morning, halfway through my second coffee, I see a white SUV pull up by the fence. Big HOA logo on the side. Out hops pink cardigan with two guys in hard hats, looking lost. We're here to confirm your claim is invalid, she barked. All business. I leaned on a post, waiting. The older guy stammered. We followed the developer's plan. Not the county database? I asked. No, sir. Karen. Yeah, I'll just call her Karen. Rolled her eyes. A map's a map. I laughed. Right. And a recipe's a recipe, even if you use salt instead of sugar. She crossed her arms. You're trying to confuse us with technical talk. The board says the fence stays. Then the board will pay $1,000 a day in fines for encroachment. I replied, showing them the code on my tablet. Concrete posts add up fast. The hard hats started sweating. One whispered, he's right, ma'am. We're over the line. She fired them on the spot. They just shrugged and left. She tried to threaten me again, said she'd get my license revoked for harassment. I just told her my number's public record. Gave her 48 hours, then I'd file a report. 2 days later, the fence was still there. No apology, no nothing. So I filed the paperwork. Photos and all. Within hours, County enforcement called me. They assigned me to inspect the encroachment. Gotta love bureaucracy sometimes. I showed up in my county truck that Friday. Karen came running out like I'd torched her roses. Official inspection, I said, badge out. Her neighbors peered from their pristine lawns, snapping photos. I read the measurements out loud. HOA fence, 41.6 feet onto private land. She lost it, claimed I was making it up. You'll have a chance to explain at the county hearing, I told her, clicking my pen shut. By the time I left, she was on her phone barking at someone about lawyers. Word got around. The next week, the county hearing was standing room only. Karen sat at the end, flanked by 2 board members and a twitchy lawyer. She tried to bluff, said it was all a misunderstanding. The boundaries were unclear. The hearing officer, Ms. Ramirez, wasn't having it. Did you hire a county surveyor? She asked. No, just a consultant. I presented the maps, GPS data, photos of the marker buried under her brand new fence. Even the HOA's own treasurer looked embarrassed. When Ms. Ramirez announced the verdict, remove the fence in 7 days, $1,000 a day in fines until then, Karen nearly lost her mind. She raged, but the penalty notice went in her name. They tore that fence out in 6 days flat. Contractors sweating bullets while Karen glared holes through them. But the real pain was just getting started. See, the insurance wouldn't cover a fine for unauthorized construction. So the bill landed square on Karen, the president herself. Then the county opened an audit. Turns out, Karen had been playing fast and loose with the HOA checkbook, decorations, wine deliveries. Security, that turned out to be dog training for her Pomeranian. The treasurer blew the whistle, sent every sketchy receipt to the county. It didn't take long for the sheriff's office to get involved. The next HOA meeting was a circus. Neighbors packed the community center, demanding answers. Karen tried to bluff, but the treasurer had evidence. Falsified signatures, forged receipts. The board voted her out right then and there. Somebody in the back yelled, "You built fences on other people's land." The whole room cracked up. Karen stormed out, red-faced, muttering about lawsuits. 2 days later, I watched a sheriff's car pull up to Karen's house. My wife, Dana, who just happens to be the county sheriff, stepped out. Karen burst out, shouting about harassment. But Dana handed her a warrant. Misappropriation of funds and document forgery. Karen blustered, "I run this neighborhood." Dana grinned. "Not anymore." As they led her away, Karen spotted me across the street, shot me a glare like she could burn down my barn with her mind. "You did this. You'll pay." I just tipped my hat and watched them drive off. 3 months later, Oakage Estates felt like a different place. No more power trips, no more mailbox inspections, just neighbors again. Karen took a plea deal, probation, fines, banned from the HOA, moved out in the night. Sometimes I walk by that empty lot where her fence used to stand. Think about how arrogance has boundaries too. And when you cross them, the land pushes back. Got a nice thank you card from the neighbors. A bottle of wine from Bill the treasurer, and a story that'll never quite get old. Funny how justice sometimes shows up in a county truck with a clipboard. So, what do you think? Was I out of line, standing my ground? Or did Karen get what was coming to her? Tell me below, because I guarantee you, this won't be the last time a little line on a map sets off fireworks in a quiet neighborhood.